After years of building up other countries, we are finally rebuilding our country. We are finally putting America first. On no issue have Washington Democrats more thoroughly sold out the American people than the issue of immigration. Before I came into office, the far left's policy of open borders allowed deadly drugs to flow freely into our country, poisoning our children, including right here in a very, very big way, the great state of Nevada. Washington Democrats put the needs of illegal immigrants before the well-being of American citizens. You know that. You've been complaining about for a long time. It's one of the reasons you voted for Trump. They want to let anyone from around the world simply walk across the border, and then they want to give them a lifetime of free welfare, of health care, of lots of other things, including education, all paid for by the taxpayers of the United States. Illegal immigration costs Nevada taxpayers, think of it, more than $1.6 billion every year, over $1,500 per household. For the amount of money Washington Democrats want to spend supporting illegal immigrants, we could rebuild every city, all of these distressed areas in the United States throughout our country. The money we spend, it's not even thinkable. And don't forget, when we say come, like in California, the clown, he says, come, we'll give you free health care. People that weren't even thinking about coming. That's why we have caravans of people that were turning back. Mexico's been great. By the way, they gave us 27,000 soldiers on our border. But when a governor, nice guy actually, he's a nice guy. We just got to explain the facts of life. He's a nice guy. Oh, doctor, please, doctor. Doctor in the house, please. Medical, please. A doctor. Thank you. Thank you. Take your time. Take your time. We got plenty of time. Take your time, please. You know, a lot of these people have been here for 3 days. It's a lot. Those front row people are tough. They're tough. Take your time, Doc. Take your time. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. That's true. They get here they stand and sit, and sometimes days early. In Colorado, they're there 3-4 days early. It's tough. It's tough. And we work it and make sure that you have everything you want. Number one, we cover the facts, and number two, we want to have a good time, because we have to have a good time. You have to have a good time. But things like that happen a lot. Because after 2-3 days, it's not easy. And these are strong people. I'm not going to fight any of them, okay? No, amazing people. Thank you very much. Thank you. Under my administration, we're finally taking care of our own citizens first, including millions and millions of illegal immigrants who follow our laws, pay their taxes, lift up our society, and are entitled to a government that protects their families and protects their communities. Every day, Democrats' open border policies are harming and killing innocent people. You know what's happening. You know what's going on. In this region alone last year, ICE officers, and they're patriots, they're strong, tough patriots. If we didn't have them, they removed thousands and thousands of MS-13 gang members a year, and plenty of others. Who else is going to do it? ICE officers arrested over 5,000 criminal aliens, charged or convicted of dangerous offenses, including robbery, rape, and even murder, many murders. In Western Nevada, an illegal alien was charged with robbing and brutally executing 4 victims last year. Right here in Las Vegas, 3 MS-13 gang members abducted a man, tied him up with his shoelaces, shot him repeatedly, and hacked him to death with a machete. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's right here in your place in Las Vegas. Right here. They hacked him to death, tied up and hacked him to death. Yet left-wing politicians oppose all detention of illegal aliens, even convicted criminals and murderers, and they support deadly sanctuary cities. You know, I say this all the time, and how the hell, where are they coming from? I don't get it, right? Seriously, I don't get it. Sanctuary cities imperil American lives by releasing dangerous criminal aliens directly into your communities. If you want to shut down sanctuary cities, if you want to protect your family and your loved ones, you must vote Republican in 2020. And you have some great ones here, Michael. Thanks to our tireless efforts to secure the border, we have reduced illegal border crossings 8 straight months in a row. And as the wall gets longer, it gets easier and easier. Remember when the Democrats were saying, you don't need a wall? You know, 2 things that never change, right? All these computers, they said, use drones. Oh, great, we'll fly over with drones. Watch the people pour in by the thousands. That's great. Use drones. You know, before I came along, they all wanted a wall. They just didn't know how to build it. They had no clue. They had no clue. They had no clue. They had the money. They actually gave the money back. But they had no clue. But as soon as I came in and I said, wall, 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 they went against. And I made a terrible, terrible mistake. You know, they always say I never admit mistakes. I do. But I'll admit a mistake now. I should have said, we will never, ever, under any circumstances, build a wall. They would have given me so much money for a wall you have built. They would have forced me to build it. I made a terrible mistake, right? Terrible mistake. So if it ever happens again, which it won't, this wall is one of a kind. We'll say, we will not build the wall. And they'll say, we demand that you build the wall, and it would have been so easy. Illegal crossings are down 75% since last spring, and we have ended catch and release. A horrible problem. We catch them. You know the story. They come over. Could be a killer, murderer, rapist. They come over. We can't do anything. We have to be politically correct. We catch them. We then say, what's your address? They don't know. They don't even know their country in many cases. Where do you come from? We don't know. And they mean it. But some are very serious criminals. So we catch them. We take whatever they can take, which is nothing. And then we had to release them in our country. We can't bring them back. And then we have a system of judges, thousands of judges all over the place. You got to be like Perry Mason. And every illegal that comes in, they have the lawyers. You know, the lawyers meet them. They get fees. They get paid fees. But we're breaking the system. No more catch and release. You think that was easy? And the big thing is that 30-foot, and this wall is built exactly to the specifications of Border Patrol, totally. And Border Patrol has seized the largest amount just recently of deadly narcotics ever recorded, the largest amount. We've deported record numbers of gang members. We've done more to secure the border than any administration in history. We are, as I said, building the wall faster than ever, faster and bigger than anyone thought possible. They can't believe we're getting it done. We'll have over 500 miles of wall built sometime next year. 500 miles. Washington Democrats have never been more extreme than they are right now. 132 congressional Democrats have now signed up for Bernie Sanders' takeover of health care that would strip 180 million Americans, many of them in this room, of their private coverage. Remember President Obama? Remember? He said, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan 28 times. He lied. So we should impeach him. We should impeach him. We're going to impeach him. We'll do a belated impeachment. We're going to do a belated impeachment. 28 times, you can keep your doctor, right? Remember, you can keep your doctor. You can keep, unfortunately, when they found out you can't keep your doctor, he said, I was just kidding. Now, we should impeach him. We'll do a belated impeachment. Fake news, you have it? So you have to be very careful when you say impeach him, because you know what they do? They go back and they write. They write. President Trump said that Obama should be impeached, but he's not in office, and so therefore they can't impeach. He doesn't know what he's talking about because he's not in office, so therefore they can't. So you have to be very careful. That's why I use the word belated impeachment. Belated, meaning I'm just kidding, okay? They do it all the time. They had it the other day. I said, bring back On with the Wind, right? I said the movie. I said a little bit up here, but I said the movie the other day in Colorado, I guess. I said, South Korean movie won. You know, they said, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Academy Award is, and it's a movie made in South Korea. I said, what's this all about? And I deal with them. They like me. We're helping them a lot. They're killing us on trade. You know, they beat us on trade, and then they win the Academy Award for a freaking movie. But we redid that trade deal. But the other day, they got me on this one, too. I said, whatever happened to Gone with the Wind? That beautiful movie, Vivian Leigh, Clark Gable, right? Whatever happened? Bring back Gone with the Wind. And some of them wrote, he doesn't know that that movie was made like in 1936. So anybody sitting, he says fake news. It is fake news. They're fakers. But no, anybody sitting there reading, they're saying, man, Trump can't be that smart. You know, he said, bring back Gone with the Wind. That's an old movie, yeah. It's an old classic. Bring back, what I say is make great movies, you know, not this computerized crap, computerized garbage. And I was never a fan of Brad Pitt, I will tell you. True. No, I thought he was a stiff. He was like a stiff, you know. It's like a boring guy. All of a sudden he wins the Academy Award. Whoa, it's a fitting. Their ratings aren't so good in the Academy Awards. You know when that stopped? When they started attacking us. Their ratings went right down the tubers. You know, I told somebody the evening newscast, you know, they're terrible for conservative people. And they're crooked. They're absolutely dishonest. I said to one of the big broadcasters, I'm friendly with them, I said, you know, if you ever did a conservative newscast, instead of you know, you got ABC is terrible, terrible. NBC is just absolutely atrocious. And they do badly. You know, not a lot of people are watching. They used to, we had the late, great Walter Cronkite and these legends, right? But ABC is terrible, and NBC is terrible, and CBS is terrible. They're all the same. And I said, you know, your ratings stink. If you would do a newscast that's conservative, I'd get them a host. I could recommend guys right now. Right? I'd get them a host. We'll call up. Don't take Sean Hannity away from us, please. Don't take our Sean. That's my problem. I don't want to take away any of our people. You get a Pete Hegseth. You get a Jesse Waters. You get... I mean, I could name so many of them, right? And you put them on that broadcast, their ratings would go up fivefold, but they don't know that. I don't know. They're stupid. They're stupid. They're stupid. Their ratings would go through the roof. But they would rather have a failed broadcast that nobody watches than put on a conservative person and lift the ratings 5 times. They would rather have a fail. Just like they were hoping 7 months ago, you know, we had a little skid, and they were hoping the market would crash because they would rather lose their money or big parts of it and have a really horrible market on the basis that we, not me, we could not be elected on November 3rd. This is how evil, this is how crazy they are. They've gone crazy. I guess you call it Trump derangement syndrome. But if they ever did a conservative broadcast, meaning very fair, very honest, but if, it's almost like, when I say that, it's almost like do a fair broadcast, just a fair broadcast. That thing would be the hottest show, but they don't realize it. And if they do, they probably wouldn't do it anyway because they don't want to go away from what they're doing, which is crazy because they are doing very poorly. While the social and socialist Democrats are trying to destroy American health care and your Social Security, they're putting it at risk. My administration is protecting your Social Security. Remember they said 4 years ago in the debates, and you had this crazy woman. I mean, I hate to mention her name. I did it, you know, yesterday. I threw all the rings. She's a zero. She's got 0 television personality. 0. A.B. Stoddard, whoever that is. She said, Donald Trump lost all of his debates. I won every debate. And maybe, I don't know, maybe won somebody, but I won with tremendous number. He said, you always win. No, I'm not sure. We try, I'll tell you that. And we're winning now. But this crazy woman who's got 0 going, 0. She said, Donald Trump lost his debates and he won. You know, she was talking about how badly Mini Mike did. So she said, well, Donald Trump, no, I won every single debate. I won him against Crooked Hillary. I won him in the primaries, like 15 or 16 debates. And for some reason, you know, sometimes you do say, it's not a big deal. Nobody watches her. Nobody cares. Nobody even knows who she is. I just made her famous, right? She's nothing. She's nothing. She's got no talent. Got nothing. She's probably got a little drive. That's how she keeps getting on television. Other people don't have her drive. But you know what? I said, that's really unfair. So I took out the polls, Time Magazine, Drudge, good guy Drudge. Drudge, we took out a lot of different things. And we put up the Drudge poll, the Time Magazine poll, and many others. And some of them had me down like at 91%, and then they'd have many people. And I can't really show it because many of those people are now great friends of mine. Some of them are great Republican senators. I'm not going to show results, but I'm holding it up just quickly. Glancing, I call it a glancing blow. But we won the debates. And I have this fake news person saying, Donald Trump did very poorly in the debates. I won every debate. Easily. I never did it before. Remember my first question? I said, Rosie O'Donnell. It was one of my best answers. Rosie O'Donnell, who violated the campaign finance laws as badly as anybody I've ever seen, and nothing happens to her. Right? And yet, Inesh violated that. He made a little mistake, and they want to destroy him. So we pardoned him. We pardoned him. By the way, he made a mistake. Rosie O'Donnell, that was a massive violation of the campaign finance laws. But Dinesh D'Souza, they wanted to put him in jail. I don't know. I think he might have even gone to jail for a period of time. for doing something that was really very understandable. Rosie O'Donnell, 5 times. What she did is incredible. Nothing happens. And then she gets on and says, what a bad guy I am. I'm not a bad guy. But it's really a disgrace. You know, it's a disgrace. I'm glad they didn't do anything with her, frankly, because you don't want to do for something like that. But you know what? How do they take it? We have 2 sets of justice in this country. It's no good. It's no good. It's no good. You know the thing we're working on right now. We're trying to get fairness for a certain person who's been treated very unfairly. A man who had a juror who was a radical anti-Trump person. And she didn't say that when she went up there. And she became the foreperson of the jury. And she did terrible things and said terrible things. And you know how they caught her? When he was convicted, and then a statement was made, she started jumping up and down, screaming, yes, yes, and started telling everybody how they said, wait a minute, wasn't she just a juror? The woman was totally biased. How do you do this? So I fight. Look, I fight. A lot of times it's not worth it, but I got to fight for fairness. I got to fight for fairness. Got to fight for fairness. It's a very unfair system. I guess it's called the swamp. When I said drain the swamp, it was a nice phrase. I never liked the phrase. When I was campaigning, somehow the phrase came up, sir, I think we have a phrase, drain the swamp. I said, I don't like it. That's too hokey. But one day I was at a big arena, 25,000 people packed before the election. And I said, and we will drain the swamp. The place went crazy. I said, wow, you never know. You never know. Frank Sinatra said his best song, I won't tell you which one because I'll ruin it for you, but his best song is the song that he thought would never make it, the song that he liked the least. But he said that's the one that was the most successful, that the people like. You never know. So I said, drain the swamp, and the people went crazy. I said, whoa. I said, let's try that again. And the next time I did it again and again and again, I only didn't know how disgusting and dirty the swamp is, and a lot of the media is a big part of the swamp. So my administration is protecting your Social Security, your Medicare, and is fighting to give you great health care. We're defending your right to keep your doctor and your plan. We're defending that right. You're going to have that right back. We're going to cancel that Obamacare if we can win the case, and we're going to give you great health care. And we're making health care better and much cheaper while premiums more than doubled in the last 5 years before I took office. We're managing it very well. We got rid of the individual mandate, by far the most unpopular thing, where you had to pay a lot of money for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health care, right? We got rid of it. And it was upheld in the Supreme Court, what we did. We get sued everything we do. If we move, if we take 10 steps, right or left, we get sued. And we're now offering plans that are up to 60% less expensive. We're going to make health care a big part of this campaign. We're protecting people with pre-existing conditions, and we always will. That's why, if we are successful, we're in the Supreme Court to try and get rid of the carcass. It's a carcass known as Obamacare, but we're running it much better than they did. Remember when they had, this was the greatest, the $5 billion website, right? $5 billion! It was supposed to cost $5 million. I have a son at home. He's 13. He's a genius with computers. Hi, Dad. What's up, Dad? Dad, get out of here. Hey, listen, I'm the President of the United States, man. Don't talk to you. Dad, come on, Dad. Can't you see I'm playing with my computer? The guy talks to me, and he's working with his computer. These guys are genius. They grow up with, it's like walking, right? But he's looking at me. I could have given him their health care site. He would have done it for nothing, and it would have been better than what they have done. Remember? Come on, Dad. I'm busy, Dad. What do you want? What do you want, Dad? Barron. Whoa, Barron. Whoa. Wow, they're gonna like. He's gonna like that. He likes it. He's a good boy. He's a tall boy, I'll tell you that. Just turned 13. He's up there. I'm saying, hi, Barron, how you doing? No, he's good. But they're great with the computers. And they spent $5 billion. Okay, it was going to cost 50. It was going to cost 5. It was going to cost 50. Then it was going to. What was the final number? 500. The number was so. The number that they spent $5 billion, right? It ended up. It still doesn't work. They spent $5 billion, right? And they spent $500 million on all of the problems it caused. And we've really straightened it out. But it's still lousy health care, Obamacare. And it's really not Obamacare anymore, because when you get rid of the individual mandate, it's no longer Obamacare. But we're going to terminate it. We're going to give you your pre-existing 100%, otherwise I won't do it. We're going to give you brand new pre-existing, and we're going to have a great health care that's much less expensive. And we're fighting to stop surprise medical billing. And Barron's going to be very happy. Thank you. I signed an executive order imposing price transparency, because when providers are required to show their prices, those same prices fall very fast. You know, a man that does this very professionally is great into the healthcare business. And you have to be careful when you say it, but, you know, it was just a very strong statement. He said, sir, price transparency in hospitals, where you can bid it out and you can look at the prices. Right now you can't see. If you go to a hospital, they won't even tell you how much it's going to cost. They operate, and then they'll give you a bill, and you'll say, oh, my God, I had no idea it could be. They take blood. We have one person, blood, $39. Another place, the exact same thing, $2,500. Take blood, a blood test. One's $39, one's $2,500. The same test. Maybe the $39 test is better. Who the hell knows? But it's crazy. Price transparency. And he looked at me and goes, and he's a real pro, one of the top in the country. He said, sir, and nobody wanted to do it because it's a little bit controversial, and a lot of the drug companies don't exactly love it. The hospitals don't love it. But I got to do what's right for the people. I don't care. I got to do it. But he looked at me, he said, and this is why I did it. It was one phrase. You know, do you ever do where you're not going to do something, then somebody hits you with a perfect phrase? He said, sir, price transparency is bigger than health care. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, you will see numbers that far outweigh health care, hospitals, doctors. He said, you'll be able to price out everything. You'll be able to see costs. He said, price transparency. You know, people, if you've heard about this for 15, 20 years, no president has the guts to do it. And it probably means I won't get campaign contributions from certain people, but I'm not going to get them anyway. What the hell difference does it make? I don't want them. I don't want them. I got to do what's right. You know, we're here for a short period of time. Even if it's a long period, it's still a short period. And we got to do. So price transparency is a big deal. He said it's bigger than health care. Think of that, bigger than health care. So let's see what happens. But that'll kick in. Unfortunately, that kicks in after the election, because we're going through the final stages. We're going through a statutory process, unfortunately. So think of it. We're going to win. But let's say the fake news can give me enough phony stories, enough bad stuff that we don't make it. The new president will get all the credit for price transparency, and he won't even know what the hell it is. And I took the heat. Isn't that something? But we're going to win. We got to win for that reason alone. Right? We've approved a record number of affordable new generic drugs, which are just as good as the name brand drugs, but a fraction of the cost. And that was another one. Tremendous political pressure. Think of it. You own Bayer aspirin. You own all these name brand drugs. They're making so much money. And then a guy comes along and said, I want to make 20 forms of aspirin. They're exactly the same. Exactly. But they don't have a big name on it. Exactly as good. I don't say better. I don't say worse. They're exactly the same. You know, people still, they want to go out and buy the name. You know, I do. You know, because it's just because we're stupid. No, it's true. They're exactly the same. We're approving so many of the generic drugs, a record number. Nobody's ever approved so much. The drug companies hate it. They hate it. It's never happened like what we're doing. We also took down the trial periods from 12 years down to 5 or 6 years, because they'd have a new drug. The thing was obsolete by the time it got approved. We've passed a really spectacular thing that they've been trying to get for 40 some odd years, right to try. So you don't have to now go if you get, hopefully nobody in this room has those kind of problems. Right to try. And so now you go and you sign a waiver and you get everything, and it's great. If you're terminally ill, if you're very, very sick, you're not going to make it. And you know why they didn't do it? They wouldn't approve it because they didn't want to be sued. And they said, no, this could be dangerous. They said, the people are terminally ill. They're going to die. Let them use the experimental drugs. Don't wait, because they have another 4 or 5 years before they can come onto the market. And it turned out we are having such unbelievable results. And you know what else? Some of those drug companies are now liking it. They fought me like crazy because it's really showing, if it works there, it's really showing that it works. It's pretty amazing. Right to try. I hope you don't have to use it. We're combating the opioid epidemic. Drug overdose deaths have declined for the first time in nearly 31 years. And I've launched new, and this is really something, brand new initiatives combating kidney disease and combating Alzheimer's disease. We've made a lot of progress. We've made a lot of progress, Sheldon. And we're pursuing new advances in the neonatal research to care for America's youngest patients, our babies, and breaking all records in so doing. All of the radical Democrats in the presidential debates have declared their unlimited support for extreme late-term abortion, ripping babies straight from the mother's womb right up until the very moment of birth. This is why in my State of the Union address, did you like it? Good. That's a different kind of address. You know, we can go lots of different ways, right? Presidential, not presidential. If I was presidential, totally, you'd have about 3 people standing here. But I asked Congress to prohibit late-term abortion of babies because Republicans believe that every child is a sacred gift from God. The Democrat Party is the party of high taxes, high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, socialism, blatant corruption, and the total obliteration of your very, very important Second Amendment. The Republican Party is the party of the American worker, the American family, the American dream, and the late, great Abraham Lincoln, which everybody forgot. Republicans are fighting for citizens from every background, every community, and every single walk of life. We are the party of boundless optimism, excitement, energy, and enthusiasm. We are wealthy, right? We are. Are we enthusiastic? You know how many of these I've done in the last 4 days? People say, where the hell do you get your energy? I say, well, the truth is, I like what I do. And if we weren't getting the results, I wouldn't like it. If we weren't getting the results, if I didn't see the results, I wouldn't like it at all. We're welcoming Americans of all parties and political persuasions to join our incredible movement to make America great again. We're a very big party. We are the party of big ideas for the future. Republicans are fighting for school choice because no parent should ever be forced to send their child to a failing government school. I passed criminal justice reform to give former prisoners a second chance at life. It was never going to happen. We got it done. This could not have been done by anyone but the Republican Party and ourselves. You know, the Democrats have tried for years. They couldn't get it done. We got it done. To uphold the rule of law, we are confirmed, and this is something they say most important thing you can do, judges. I say most important thing is defense. Second is judges. A record number of 217 federal judges who will interpret the Constitution as written. And we have appointed 2 great new Supreme Court justices Neil Gorsuch, and Brett Kavanaugh. I recognized Israel's true capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And we recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. We have invested $2.2 trillion to rebuild the United States military, including more than $130 million for Nellis Air Force Base right here. And we just created the sixth branch of the American Armed Forces, the Space Force, 72 years. 72 years. The Air Force was 72 years ago. We just did a branch. It's a big deal, isn't it? Think of it, a branch. The Army, the Air Force, think of it. We did a branch. For years, you watched as your politicians apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America, and we are standing up for the people of Nevada. At stake in our present battle is the survival of our nation. If you want your children to inherit the blessings that generations of Americans have fought and died for to secure, then we must devote everything we have toward victory in November of 2020, November 3rd. November 3rd. Only this way can we save the America we love and drain the Washington swamp once and for all. With your help, we will lift millions more of our citizens from welfare to work, dependence to independence, and poverty to prosperity. Together, we will elect a Republican Congress to create a fair, safe, sane, and lawful system of immigration. We will continue to enact new trade deals that result in more products proudly stamped with that very beautiful phrase, made in the USA. We will achieve new breakthroughs in science and medicine, finding new cures for childhood cancer and ending the AIDS epidemic within 9 years in America. And we will land the first woman on the moon and become the first nation in the world to plant its flag on Mars. We will defend privacy, free speech, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. And that is under siege, in case you haven't noticed. You know, your Second Amendment is under siege. Just don't worry. As long as I'm here, they're not touching it. Above all, we will never stop fighting for this. So true. But we will never stop fighting for the sacred values that bind us together as one America. We support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. We stand with the incredible heroes, and they are heroes. We love them, of law enforcement. We believe in the dignity of work and the sanctity of life. We believe that faith and family, not government bureaucracy, are the true American way. We believe that children should be taught to love our country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And we live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." From Carson City to Reno to right here in Las Vegas, we stand on the shoulders of red-blooded American patriots who poured out their heart, sweat, and soul to secure our liberty and to defend our great, beautiful, lovely freedom. 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 Freedom! Nevada was founded by pioneers and prospectors, miners and cowboys, who tamed the frontier, raised the mighty Hoover Dam, that's a beauty, transformed the barren desert into a shining oasis, lit up the lights of the Las Vegas Strip, and helped to make this the greatest nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And we are making it greater than ever before. Proud citizens like you help build this country. And together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting. And we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. America is thriving like never before. And ladies and gentlemen of Nevada, the best is yet to come. Together we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again.